NathanIvey.com. Mr. Ivy know the show must go on. And for Cincinnati, man, I put on. Tunes made another flame beat for me to cook on. Raised dogs, close fish, yeah, too strong. Team AI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cop squats in, listen to the real. Jumping like hopscotch, nobody harder than, oh, no, think not. Not only citywide, but nationwide. Superlative, keep it locked like them Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airwaves, we talk about it. Brand new like the templates, let's be about it. Who got the info by the AM? John be the rapper, got them jamming when they play him. Staying in my lane, they ain't gotta okay him. Who the host with the scoop? Yeah, they gon' say him. Ivy, so superlative like a bag of drippos. Show you where the bricks at, Cincinnati red tag. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. It's the 513, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at.
Rogers done did it again, man. She done made Grandma Gigi sweet potato pie.
And she made Aunt Pony's caramel pound cake too.
Porch Light, peach cobbler, Uncle Charles, brown sugar birthday
Think
cake.
Steve's and slap your mama.
Everybody knows where to get their food. Wing Champs will do. Everybody knows where to get their food. Wing Champs will do. Wings grilled and smoked to perfection. Dry rubber sauce is your preference. Ribs off the bone can get messy. Which size to choose? There's so many. Make their own ice cream, Creamalicious. Go to the bar, they're so friendly. All perked at home to get fed. We headed out the Wing Champs. Everybody knows where to get their food. Wing Champs will do. Wing Champs will do. Everybody knows where to get their food. Wing Champs will do. Wing Champs will do it, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good morning to you. Hopefully you can hear the sound of my voice. If so, I wish you a great day. It's a tremendous Tuesday, and I'm back at it. You got me until about 9:30 a.m. this morning, which is a little over an hour. And then I got a few moves to make. It's a few projects I'm working on, and I need this time in the morning. I appreciate you. All right. I'll give you an update real soon. Could be some really fantastic news. We shall see. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. On today's show, among other things, I want to talk about a tragedy. I want to talk about a tragedy that a family is dealing with right now. They lost their daughter, a young girl named Nyla Anderson. And you may have seen this online, perhaps. This story, of course, has, as they say, gone viral. And I've seen it on a lot of different platforms. Young black girl named Nyla Anderson, 10 years old, was found unresponsive in her family's house. Her family rushed her to the hospital, as anybody would do. Like, stop for a second. Can you even imagine? You even imagine? That's your child. You come home or you go to your child's bedroom and you find them unresponsive. I mean, just the sheer terror as a parent. I mean, hell, I almost had a moment when I got a phone call from CPS at 9 a.m. in the morning a couple weeks back. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? It's crazy. You know, being a parent means being terrified and scared all the damn time. Because especially when your children are not right in front of you. But here's an image of the young girl right there. That's her. Her name is Nyla Anderson. She is, look at her. Look at that big old smile. Could be my daughter. Could be your daughter or you're somebody in your family. Little black girl. And she's no longer with us. And her mother is blaming a social media platform called TikTok. Are you on TikTok? Her mother, and these people are based in Pennsylvania. Her mother, Taiwana Anderson, said that her daughter choked herself until she passed out because she was trying to do the blackout challenge. Now, the blackout challenge, people will post videos of themselves like asphyxiating themselves until they pass out. And this is supposed to be entertainment. And apparently young Nyla was on TikTok and some videos that were connected with the blackout challenge. Have you heard about this? The blackout challenge appeared on her feed, her For You feed, and that inspired her to follow the deadly fad. This isn't the first time something like this has happened. Surrounding the blackout challenge. Surrounding a blackout challenge. Have you ever seen these videos? Like, there's challenges that encourage people to wrap plastic around their necks and hold their breath until they experience that euphoric feeling of not having enough oxygen going to your brain. And the attorney for the family claims that at least 4 other children have died because of the blackout challenge. And the lawyers are arguing that TikTok knew about the reported deaths associated with the challenge that's on their platform, but they didn't take any steps to protect the users. In fact, the argument from the lawyers is that instead of protecting the users, TikTok was pushing it to more and more young users. Here's a quick question. Is 10 years old too young to be on TikTok, in your opinion? Is 10 years old too young to be on TikTok? I guess every parent have to make their own decision on that. But I'm asking you, is that too young to be on TikTok? So my question is TikTok to blame for this 10-year-old's death? You get a 10-year-old, they're on TikTok, they see these challenges, they're like, oh, that's cool. I want to increase my social media following. They're 10 years old, so, the brain isn't nowhere near fully developed. As I understand, the human brain does not become fully developed until you're about 25 years old. With some people, it's much longer than that. You got some people in their fucking 50s that their brains ain't developed. But that's what the science says, 25 years old for your brain to develop. That's why the people that work with children and work in schools, they have to understand that when you're dealing with a 16-year-old or 14-year-old or an 8-year-old or 17-year-old or even an 18-year-old, their brain ain't fully developed. You can't hold them to the same consequences and responsibilities as you would have grown up in their 30s, 40s, and 50s and beyond. Even as I said, though, I've met some adults, and I can tell their brains ain't fully developed. And they in their 40s and 50s, 30s and 60s. It is what it is. But is TikTok to blame for this 10-year-old's death? Think about it. This is the Chop Shop. We break things down. I bring this to you this morning. I want to get your thoughts on it. This story is bigger than just this issue with Nyla Anderson, because TikTok ain't going nowhere. Social media ain't going nowhere. And social media fads and trends are not going anywhere. Right? If you're somebody who consumes a lot of social media and internet content, you're going to come across it. You've come across it. You're going to continue to come across it. It is what it is. So we have to navigate the rules in this new territory, right? So what are the rules? Is 10 years old too young to be on TikTok? Does TikTok have any responsibility for the content they put out? I would say, yeah. I would say there's some responsibility for the content they put out. Yeah. But I'd also say, well, how many people believe that who has a greater responsibility for a 10-year-old to be on TikTok? Is it TikTok or is it mom and dad? Now, I don't want to get in a situation where I'm blaming mom because she's already lost enough, right? She lost her daughter. But we keeps it 100 here in the chop shop. So let's keep it 100. Who has a greater responsibility for what your child does? Is it the social media content providers and platform providers, or is it mom and dad? You tell me. 513-873-7134. You tell me. I mean, this is just terrible. I feel for this family. I can't even imagine. I would be beside myself. I'll never be right again. The lawsuit, here's a quote from the lawsuit. Nyla Anderson was a bright, active, and innocent 10-year-old girl who fell victim to the TikTok defendant's predatory and manipulative app and algorithm. A report that came out in 2021 shows that TikTok was the most downloaded non-game app in the world. It's one of 5 non-game apps that have reached 3 billion downloads. And 28% of TikTok users are under 18 years old. Did you know that? Back in December of 2021, the U.S. Surgeon General put out a warning saying that there was a concern about the impact on children and young people's mental health, talking about TikTok and social media in particular. And if you remember, and we haven't heard any, whatever happened to the whistleblower? Remember that Facebook whistleblower? What happened to her? We ain't heard shit from her. Is she still alive? Her name was Frances Haugen. Remember her? Where is she at? Where is Fran? Is she even alive now? I have no idea. I haven't seen her in the media. She just kind of went away. You don't hear nothing about her. She came out. She used to work with Facebook. And she said that basically that Facebook was aware of the negative impact of Instagram because Instagram is owned by Facebook. And yet they just keep pushing it to keep the people anyway. Oh, I'm seeing it right now. Yeah, she was in Cambridge. Okay, so she's still alive. She's still making the rounds. They didn't take her out. The Illuminati didn't get her. It's like, oh, you trying to mess up this little thing we got Facebook? We got something for you, sis. You can't stop Facebook. And as I told you, Facebook hasn't changed that much. And what she said, really, nothing's really happened. Sometimes things can be too powerful. But the argument that she was making is that Instagram has a negative impact on young people's minds, especially young girls, they said. Because if you go on Instagram right now, all you see is perfect lives. The vast majority of what you're going to see is people fronting, stunting, showing off their perfect bodies, their perfect lives, their perfect jobs, their perfect houses, their perfect cars, their perfect lawns, their perfect hair. I ain't never seen this much perfection ever. Everything's perfect. And then you got a young person whose brain is not developed. They don't know how to process that. They're like, what's wrong with me? Let me tell you something. My daughter is 16 right now, and she can't stand her father, and that's a good thing because her father will not allow her to get on social media. She don't need to be on social media. She's a student athlete. That's your job. Your job is not to sit and scroll. You ain't getting paid for that. I challenged my daughter. I told her, you can get on TikTok and Instagram if you start a business, and then you're going to use that as the front door or a portal to your business. And she didn't do that. So she ain't on there, period. Like if you got business to take care of, okay, great. If you're trying to create your influencer profile, okay, great. But if you just want to scroll and just signify and stay up on the latest challenges, that's not what I'm not subsidizing your life for that. You are a student athlete. That is your job. Everything else you don't need to do. You can do that when you get 18. You can waste your time then. You're not going to waste my dime wasting your time right now. She don't need it. That's the number one reason, is because it's a distraction she don't need. She can't stand this, by the way. Pardon me. Medium Buddha can't stand me on this. Like, we've had lots and lots and lots of discussion about it. But my friends, but I'm not your friend's father. But everybody else, but I'm not everybody else's father, right? You know, it goes that line. And I'm not going to change. She don't need to be on that. She can get on it when she's 18. Because she's an adult, then I can't stop her. And I mean, 363 days, she ain't getting on TikTok, period, unless she starts a business. Now you talking about Black Wall Street. Now you getting your hustle on. Daddy likes that. But for you to just be sitting there on some dumb shit, no. That's just me. That's the number one reason. The second is a waste of her time. The second reason is I can understand the detrimental effects that being exposed to that can have on a young person. I already know. And yeah, nothing might happen at all. But it might affect her in a way that's unnecessary. So why let her do it? That's mom and dad's role. That's what dad has to say. She don't need it. So my daughter is completely unaware of all of the TikTok challenges. We check her phone on a regular. Don't tell her we got little, spyware. Yeah. Yeah, who is this? Well, how did you know? Because I'm omnipotent. Gosh darn it. I know everything you're doing. That's why. I mean, for me, if you're a parent or the guardian of a child, you're the first line of defense. I'm not going to leave it up to TikTok or Facebook or Instagram to make sure they're going to put the right things in front of my child. Why would I trust them? I don't trust them. Why would I ever trust them with my child? I ain't going to do it. I'm going to have to make the decision. Like I said, we had some back and forth with it. You know what I'm saying? And Trinice says, I'm tripping. I'm tripping? What's tripping about that? You going to have to explain that in Good Morning, Trinice. I'm not tripping. I'm a father. Or should I say, you're right, I am tripping. And that's what fathers and parents are supposed to do. And she got her feelings about it. The tears and the pleading and the stomping away. I don't care. So what? I know what's supposed to happen. I know what's not supposed to happen. It is what it is. You don't like it. When you get 18, you can get on TikTok. But as I said earlier, I'm not subsidizing everything you do so you can get on Instagram. That's not why I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying? I ain't doing that. We didn't pay for summer camp and cheer camp. And my God, my daughter is a cheerleader at Warner Hills. Yeah, I had no idea it cost so much. I had no idea. I ain't doing that. I'm not going to spoil all of that so you can sit on TikTok and fill your brain with a bunch of dumb shit. I'm not doing that. You can do that on your own. When you get 18, you got the same right as every other adult. You can trash your body and your mind. That's part of the privilege of being an adult. You can do what you want to do yourself. But not while I'm doing it. It ain't happening. That's that old school shit. We need more of it. Daryl writes, good morning, Nathan Choppers. Good morning to you. Daryl Carpenter writes, good morning. TC writes, good morning. Steban is in the house. What's up, Mr. Speed? He writes, good morning, Nathan Choppers. Eloise is in the house. Good morning, Eloise. Hello. Sakina's in the house. What's up, Sakina? She writes, good morning, Nathan. Or is it good morning, Nathan? Gosh darn. Nathan Samuels. I saw somebody got a tattoo of Kevin Samuels on their body. It ain't that serious. It ain't that serious. We're gonna miss that brother. That brother brought a lot to the conversations. Sheila writes, good morning, Nathan Choppers. Regina writes, good morning, everyone. TC writes, I'm finally woke to catch the show. Great. I'm glad you're here. Vernon writes, morning, Nathan Ivey. Joe writes, good morning, Nathan Choppers. Good morning to you. That was Greg who wrote that. Joe writes, good morning, Nathan Choppers. Good morning to you. Kevin's in the house. Kev on the cell rights. Good morning, choppers. It's a great day to get it in, plan to make moves. I love the way that sounds. Because that's the response to what happened in Buffalo. The response to what happened in Buffalo is if you're legally able to do so, stay strapped everywhere you go where you can legally take a firearm. You should have a firearm on you everywhere you go where it's legal. Because you never know when a mofo want to get out of pocket or you got to put your life, your life might be in jeopardy. And all that pray, oh, please, God, save me. I wonder how many people have died praying to God. Oh, please, please, I'm a good Christian. I got kids. They're psycho sickos, killers, muggers, robbers, murderers. They don't want to hear that shit. In fact, they might get off on it. I say give them lead. That's what I say. And then secondly, black wealth, black family building, black wealth building. In fact, the building the black family is black wealth building. You know what I'm saying? If the others don't like the fact that we're here and we making moves and we ain't in the fucking plantation no more and we out here making the best our strides to live our best life, then give them something to be really mad about. Go get you some property. Go start you an investment. Go start you a business. Recycle the black dollar. Make them real mad. Start a PAC. Get politically organized. You know what I'm saying? If they mad now, oh, we're going to really make you mad. We're going to really make you mad. That's the response to what happened in Buffalo. Good morning, in case you missed yesterday's show. Make them real mad. Stack your chips and move into that swanky cul-de-sac. You know what I'm saying? Make them see you. Brian writes, good morning, hashtag GSW. We'll see what happens. Should be fun. TC writes, especially when the phone ring, your heart will skip a beat. Yep, that's right. Just happened 2 weeks ago. CPS, man. Oh, my God. They still got a communication barrier between the district and the parents. I'm on the air and get a phone call talking about help us welcome the new superintendent at 9 o'clock in the morning. And Negro, please save all that. That's the kind of message you send the day before, after school. Anyway. Tabitha writes, the internet needs to be monitored. Look, as adults, we already know what TikTok is and TikTok ain't. You know that shit ain't good for no 10-year-old. You know that. I'm going to go ahead and make a bold statement. TikTok is not for 10-year-olds. It's not. It's not. Simple as that. But people can do what they want to do with their kids. It's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Am I blaming the mother? Am I blaming Tabitha's mother? Well, gee, I hate to blame a woman that's lost her daughter. However, what I will say is a parent is you got the first line of responsibility. If she never let her kid get on TikTok, because you can't control what comes up on your timeline, TikTok controls that. That right there is enough for me to say, I ain't going to go there because I don't have no control over it. And I don't want my kid to be exposed to something like that. And I don't have any control. All kinds of things come across, very adult things. A lot of sexual themes come across TikTok. You just sit there, that ain't for no child. And as much as you can say, like, look, only things that come up are the things that are her favorites. You don't have no control over that. That ain't no exact science. All adults know that. And for me, before you let your kid get on like TikTok or something like that, you got to get on TikTok and see what it is for a little while, for about a month or two. Get on there, surf around, and see what it is and what it's not before you just say, hey, yeah, you can get on there. That's just me. So I don't know what's going to happen with this lawsuit. We'll see if there's any merit to it or not, but it's very, very tragic. It's very, very tragic. Mom, you had a decision to make. Now, even having saying that, I still say that social media platforms have a responsibility. I still believe that. But is it to the degree where they're responsible for the death of this young black girl? We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. Right now, I'm saying to all parents, you are the first line of defense. It ain't the social media. It's not social media. Well, they should have because they knew better. You know better. You should have. And for me, TikTok is not for a 10-year-old. That's way too young. They can't even understand all the shit that's on there. That's way too young to be on the internet unmonitored on any site, period, across the board. That's just me. You got a lot of things out there that appear to be for children, but beneath the surface on the internet, it's all kind of shit on there. All kinds of shit. Like this Roblox. You hip to that? My son wants to be on Roblox. Man, later for that. Trinice writes, I don't know. Crystal writes, it's not TikTok's fault. Tabitha writes, TikTok needs to be monitored. I agree. By the parents. By the parents. Trinice writes, you tripping. You still think I'm tripping? Marisha writes, good morning. Crystal writes, I'm responsible for my children's social media intake. Correct, Amundo. Mom and dad are responsible. Not Facebook. My daughter don't have no social media accounts. She ain't on Facebook. She ain't on Twitter. She ain't on Instagram. She ain't on TikTok. And she ain't never going to get on it until she get 18 at this point. Why? Give me one reason why. And she don't, I can see if she had a business, like she created something and that was the portal. Okay, now you got a reason to be on there. But if you ain't created a business, that means you in other people's business. And I'm not paying for every facet of your life for you to sit around and be on other people's business. I'm not doing it. Greg writes, did this 10-year-old have her own phone? If so, isn't that too young to have your own phone? Could be. I think Medium Buddha, she got a phone when she got to high school. And she got a phone when she got to high school because from day one, she was doing after school activities. And so that's the reason why she got a phone, but we wouldn't allow her to do anything. She ain't had nothing on it. She had Netflix and she had her kids' account on Netflix, which we monitor. We still monitor to this day, kind of. We don't monitor her Netflix as much because now she's 16 and she done watched all kind of shit with us, like horror movies and things like that and sci-fi movies. But we, for a while there, we was checking out her history and that was it. You know, she could text us, music. She had a lot of music. And even with that, you know, we've had some conversations, but she didn't need no damn phone. For what? Mika writes, good morning, Choppers. Time to secure the bag. Make it a great day. I love the way that sounds. Brian writes, Junior 10 watches TikTok, but not making videos. He wants to, though. Each household will have to make their own decisions. Correct, Amundo, Brian. And then deal with the consequences of those decisions. You let your kid get on TikTok, your kid decides that they want to be a part of the blackout challenge, which I don't understand. Like, it's just some shit I don't need to do. But I got a fully developed and probably overdeveloped and probably underdeveloped brain at this point. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand, like, you know, getting my social media following is not that serious where I'm going to put something around my neck and then, you know, try to asphyxiate myself. So as the story goes, this young girl, Nyla Anderson, wanted to participate in the blackout challenge, which is where people post videos of themselves blacking out. They'll put something around their neck or plastic around their neck or around their head, and they'll hold their breath into the point where they start to feel that euphoric feeling, and then they pull away from the edge. Well, she tried to pull away from the edge, but she had whatever she tied around her neck was so tightly around her neck that she couldn't get herself out. Back in April of last year, a 12-year-old named Joshua died after using a shoelace to attempt the blackout challenge. And Joshua's twin brother found him passed out on the bathroom floor. They tried to resuscitate him, ran him to the hospital. He stayed on life support for 19 days until either he died or they pulled the plug. I don't know. A 14-year-old boy in Australia died last June after attempting the challenge. And so there's been 4 or 5 instances where young people have killed themselves trying to do a damn challenge on TikTok. Now, what in the world? Do I blame the children? No, because they're children. They're 10, 12. Do you remember what it was like to be 12? Probably not, because your brain is so far removed from that, you don't even remember what it was like. I don't remember what it was like. 12-year-olds growing up in the social media age are different than 12-year-olds growing up in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s. They different. There's a whole different world out there called the digital world. And a lot of these folks want to be influencers. They want to get their numbers up, right? They get their numbers up, they can be an influencer. Maybe they can be an Amazon influencer, make some money from TikTok. This is a whole new world. There's a whole new economy out there that's open up to people, young people today, that we don't know shit about. TC writes, it's the world we live. Bad omens are targeting us on all levels. Watch and monitor what you and your family are doing. Jenny writes, mom and dad. I'm with you, mom and dad. Mom and dad. So if she feel like she wants to forward her lawsuit, that's all right as an American. But it's all right to give us our opinion as well, because this stuff has entered our sphere, right? The sphere of the court of public opinion. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And this is the reason why young people, 10 years old, in my opinion, should not be on any social media. They don't need to be, number one. They don't need it. There's no need behind it, other than you on some influencer type shit because you're trying to build up your brand. Now, if you're trying to build up your brand because either you got products or services or entertainment that you're selling, I can understand that. I can understand that now. Now you're talking about building a business. Let's talk. Let's talk. But to just sit there looking at videos, do that when you're 18. Do it all day long. Darlene writes, Grand Rising, Nathan Choppers back from Myrtle Beach. Esteban writes, never used TikTok. Really? Marisha writes, mom and dad. Crystal writes, parents always want to blame someone for their lack of parenting. I watch what my kids watch. Parents get involved. I'm with you 1,000%, Crystal. 1,000%. 1,000%. Absolutely. That's my job. Rustafari writes, the parents have the greater responsibility. Tabitha writes, parents need to monitor their child at all times, especially a monitor. Tracy writes, is TikTok managed humans? Let's be honest. How does she get access? Mom did. Mom and dad gave her access. Yes, to young, I see some stuff on that site. Tabitha writes, for a kid, the internet is like watching TV, so monitor your kids' activities. Darlene writes, never use TikTok. Crystal writes, replying, okay. Brian writes, we monitor his every move on his cell phone through an app. We can see what, when, and where he watches. He has to get permission to even download apps. It comes to my phone and Wife's for approval, right? So y'all got a process. I get it. TC writes, hush money will hush you up. Terry writes, TikTok was made for kids, so all these adults are the problem. Everyone wants to be famous. You're right, Terry. Everyone wants to be famous. And I don't have a problem with that. It's a different world. It's a different world than from where we came from. It's a whole different world. Everybody wants to be famous. We have never been so narcissistic and full of ourselves as an individuals and as collective human beings as we are right now. Because via social media, everybody has an instant platform. Just like that. Tabitha writes, the internet even influences adults too. We just had a mass shooting. The boy said he had been influenced to kill. Right. Right, Tabitha. Right. People say that the internet is going to be the end of us. And I disagree. It's going to be humans. Humans are worse than COVID and the internet. Stop blaming internet. Humans were bad before the internet ever came. It's humans. These gosh darn humans. That's what the problem is. That's what the problem is. 100%. That's what the issue is. That's how I see it. Victoria writes, that's good parenting, Mr. Ivy. Everybody does it differently. That's just me. I don't see no reason for her to do it. She hated it too. I mean, look, it's a real issue. It's a nerve in our family. Don't bring it up to Medium Buddha if you see her out. She can be like, my dad. Okay. I can be all of that. Crystal writes, damn right, Nathan, you run your household. Don't let your kids watch all that BS. I did the same thing. The ultimate father says no to provides, communicates. That's right. Be the parent. Right. I'm not my daughter's friend. I'm her father. We're not friends. I've told her that before. I'm not your friend. I'm your dad. That's a whole different kind of relationship. All parents are not like us, unfortunately. They don't care what their kids are watching. I don't know if they don't care. Some don't care. And I think that's a minority. I think it's just they got a different way of looking at things. I'll put it that way. I'm not going to say my way is the right way. It's the right way for me and for us. But other parents can do what they do. But you got to deal with the consequences. If you let your kids get on TikTok, how you going to get mad at TikTok because your kids are exposed to stuff that's on TikTok? Don't make sense. Tabitha writes, the internet is half responsible and parenting is the other half. You have to protect your child. Okay, so the argument is that 3, 4, 5 people around the world, children, basically kill themselves trying to follow the blackout challenge. Okay, it gets back to TikTok. Does TikTok have a responsibility to make sure that people of that same age bracket do not see what's on there? I mean, there's part of me that says yes, and there's part of me that says no. Part of me says the social responsible thing to do would be to change your algorithm or to ban the blackout challenge altogether. Just ban it. 3, 4, 5 kids around the world end up killing themselves because of the blackout challenge. The responsible thing to do by TikTok would be to ban the blackout challenge altogether on their platform. It's just not worth it. Even if one child is killed and you have 4 or 5. The other part of that is, this is TikTok. This is what it does. This is what it do. You know what it is. It's like, you're gonna sue the CRC because your kid jumped in the pool and got wet. It's like, wait a minute. My kid got wet, damn it. How dare you let my kid get wet? And you're like, it's a pool. Water is wet. It's the same thing with TikTok. This is social media. It's TikTok. TikTok got all kind of challenges that are dangerous, sexually orientated material, adult themes on there. If you decide to swim in that stream, what you gonna get mad at us for? You knew what it was. I told BJ that if he wants to be on TikTok or Twitch for gaming, he has to come up with the platform. Nothing as of yet, LOL. Cass writes, morning, Nathan Choppers. Good to see you, Cass. Crystal writes, damn right, I run this. Sheila writes, I don't let my son get on Facebook until he was 16. He had an attitude about it also. Then when he was old enough, he didn't even go on Facebook that much. I could care less about what Medium Buddha thinks about the decisions I make. She can get over it or don't get over it or whatever. You know, when she get 18, I keep telling her. And sometimes I got to remind her, when you get 18, you can do all of that. I want to get tattoos, she says. My recommendation is you really think about that before you ink up your body. But you can do all that when you get 18. Do all of that. You ain't going to do it until then, because it's irrelevant. You got 2 jobs, student, athlete. That's your job. Your job is scholarship, college placement. That's what your job is. And her mother and I subsidize every facet of her life. We subsidize her food, her clothes, her water, her internet, her extracurricular activities. I'm her chauffeur. She don't pay for no gas. And she even get treats along the way. And guess what? We come through with birthday presents and gifts and shit like that. And your job is student, athlete. That's your job. That's it. We got everything else. You got 2 jobs. 2 jobs. And watch your brother from time to time so we can go out and be a grown and be adults. That's your jobs. That's it. and you get tens of thousands of dollars every year of subsidizing. We're the federal government for her. And that's all we ask for. That's it. And I don't think that is too much to ask. I really don't. I don't think that's too much to ask at all. Not at all. So I can see, if you're a social media platform, I can see it both ways. Like, I do think that if there's a trend that that has deadly consequences, that you should do something to restrict the proliferation of the videos. At the same time, if you're dealing with a minor, mom and dad chose to allow you to do that. They said, yeah, you can swim in this stream. So when you get wet or whatever else happens to you, they knew what the danger was. Now, of course, as a parent, you never can fathom that your child is going to go along with something like that. But they're children. I would never think in a million years that Medium Buddha would try to partake in the blackout challenge. I would never think that. I would never think that about her. But what I know about her is that she's 16 today. She's 16. She don't know what shit. Nothing. Her little brain ain't even developed yet. So she might see something and process something that's outside of what I think she might do because she's a child. She can't stand it, but she'll get over it. When she get older, she'll understand. If she ever has children, and right now she says she don't want no kids. I don't want no kids for what? I'm living my life. That's what she says now. But if she ever has children, then she'll look back like, oh, snap. That's why he did that. I love him. Hopefully I'll be around to have that day. Most people, when they have children, it gives them an appreciation for either what their parents did or didn't do. Because some people grew up in abusive households, and you had no idea until you became a parent and started and you had kids, and you're like, oh, shit, my mom and dad did this shit. That was wrong as hell for that. Happens all the time. Roy writes, good morning, everyone. Crystal writes, good morning, family. Crystal Smith writes, good morning. Tabitha writes, I'm a mother and a grandma. I still read books and do positive activities with them. No TV, no internet, period. Okay, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you, man. I ain't got no problems with it. I respect it. I respect it. Anthony writes, morning, Chop Shops. He also writes, like and share, fam. Tabitha writes, where is your son? I need to come in and play that sound. You need to come in? Yeah. They just been moving early in the morning, making sure everybody gets where they got to get to early in the morning. And he has been. So now my daughter and my son do this thing where they sit in the car before the wifey gets in the car. It's a thing they got between them, and they listen to music. So I love it. Nyla writes, he had on a bulletproof vest in New York. Yeah, he had on full body armor, bulletproof vest, and a helmet. He was about the business. And if if it's possible for you to get some full body armor, you should buy some full body armor as well. And buy body armor for everybody in your family. Why not? Why not? That should just be a part of your disaster preparedness. Currently, we don't have it, but I'm going to get it. Watch. I'm going to get it for everybody in the family. Why? Because there's a lot of psycho sickos out here. You never know. You know what I'm saying? I would look at it as a part of my disaster preparedness. You should have about 10, 15, 20 jugs of water. Get yourself a generator. Some non-perishable food items. Right? What happens if the electricity goes off? What happens if the water get cut off? What you gonna do? You gonna go to your neighbor's house and beg for it? What you gonna do? You gonna sell your children for water? What are you gonna do? These are possibilities that can happen. This is just proactive. These are defensive tactics. There's nothing wrong with this. Nothing wrong with this, man. About 12 years ago, there was a high windstorm that came through Cincinnati, knocked out the electricity. At that point, we were living in Walnut Hills. It knocked out the electricity for about a week, about 4 to 5 days. We walking around with fucking candles. Candles. We walking around with candles, yo. I was like, oh, snap. We can't do this. We can't do this. Everybody's civilized as long as you can get clean water and turn the faucet. When you can't do that and you ain't got no electricity and the water runs out, you'll do anything. You'll do anything. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, Nathan. It's Nicole. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Nicole. Good morning and welcome. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind? Well, your topic today is very, very good, interesting. I was thinking about my own kids and then even myself. I grew up in a very sheltered home. I mean, my mother is very religious. I grew up Seventh-day Adventist, so anybody that knows about that religion knows it's really strict, from sundown to sundown, Friday to Saturday, like the main days of the week. I would be down. Like I couldn't go outside, and summer days are long. You watching all your friends play, and you just like, I can't go outside and play until the sun go down or whatever. Couldn't watch TV, couldn't do nothing on Saturdays. And my mother did her best to shelter me from the world. Like it was always this thing, just like, don't be, you could be in the world, but not of the world. You know what I mean? And so she did her best to like shelter me in a lot of things, but then it just depends on different relationships she was in. Like if this husband was more lax, then okay, we're not vegetarians anymore. Now we eat, meat and stuff. This person, whatever, then or if we was by ourselves, then we were back on strict mode. So it just changed a lot for me. It wasn't really consistent, but at the same time, I think in a lot of ways, then that shelter made me naive when I was young, not realizing, when I'm going to public school and I'm going and out there amongst my peers and stuff, people are mean, people are fake, you know what I'm saying? And just not being able to understand people, kids cussing and stuff. And it's like, you can't really, as much as, unless you're a Mormon, you just like, away, totally disconnected from everything. It's really no way to, prevent your kids from being exposed to what they're going to be exposed to. So the only real thing is to talk to your kids and prepare them so they're not getting their advice and their information from their peers who don't know nothing about nothing. I think it's a little bit unfair to kind of blame the mother. I mean, she definitely bears her responsibility. I feel like it's both the Tik-Tok and the mother that bears responsibility. But that's to say, like, if the child wasn't on Tik-Tok, then he would still be alive. I mean, people can say the same thing, like with the Gabriel Tate. Well, how come you didn't know your child was being bullied? If you talked to your child, maybe he would have known. It's just a little unfair to put those type of onus when, nobody really knows, people don't wake up that day like, oh, this my child going to end up doing this X, Y, Z. People don't wake up thinking like, you talk to your kids and you think they wouldn't do anything like that. And then your kids go out with their friends and they end up stealing stuff. And you taught them better. But sometimes peer pressure and just other things, other outside influences can steer them the wrong way. Kids make bad decisions. The goal is to limit those bad decisions, and then for it to be not a situation where the decisions or the choices they made impact their lives in such a way where they lose their freedom, they lose their lives, or they hurt someone else. Those type of things. But it's really, to me, it's like no way to just like barricade, because anything can be a factor to your child's demise or shortcoming or just life altering situation. What I will say about TikTok, they do have a responsibility with the content. And I was just listening to something the other day where and I forget the analysis he made with some great points, like these social media providers. And he was mainly talking about the shooter over the weekend. Like, what makes them think that they have the right to just like deliver content live and with like unfiltered, uncensored, whatever. Like, I guess, you know, people were able to see the young man shoot, and I ain't even seen all of that, like in real time or whatever. And it was just like no barricades to that. Like even network TV, there's a delay. Even in radio, there's a delay. You know what I'm saying? Like FCC, they regulate that stuff. But social media is just like all that will, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You can do real quick, and they might hurry up and yank it real quick once it's enough complaints or whatever. But by that time, it's already been circulated, you know, a million times over. And somebody has it somewhere. It isn't totally gone. It's just, you know, inaccessible for the moment for some people. But they have a responsibility. And just like anything else, you know, they need to be regulated. There's a reason why, you know, we have regulations from, you know, the motor vehicles and wearing seatbelts and having airbags and everything else. It wasn't because the company, the motor vehicle, I mean, you know, Chrysler or whatever else is like in their good nature. Let's just make sure that everybody's, you know, safe and everything else. I mean, things had to evolve and change. Things have to be regulated. He was saying also, like, there's a reason why you can trust the food, you know, partly that comes in, because it isn't because of the producers, like, oh, they want to put all these pesticides and everything else in there, and then somebody has to do the scientific part and see how much and how much that affects people's you know, internally and consumptions and everything else. So there's a reason for regulations, and social media seemed like that last frontier that is fighting to be against regulations, but regulations are good. It protects us. It protects us from situations like this. Like it makes no sense to have something out there that literally can cause death. You know what I mean? I've seen on YouTube, at least, like the content creators, if they're doing like a prank or a joke, like, look, don't do this and that, because they've had the potential of being sued or whatever, or was sued or threatened to be knocked off of YouTube. Like there is some sort of warning, even from the actual influencers, like, please don't try this or whatever. To think that this platform has no, you know, responsibility for something that's clearly, you know, can cause harm and death. That's ridiculous. I don't, you know, that should have never been out there. And the mere fact that they, you know, just let things roll out live without like review to make sure that the content is safe. And if it's not, you know, safe, to have some sort of warnings or just be able to capture it and categorize it in a different category, like this type of content. They make billions and billions of dollars. So they got the money and they have the resources. They can. I don't, you know, nobody wants to hear like, oh, that's just too much. Who cares? You make enough money to do so. And you want to continue on this platform doing that, then you need to be able to be responsible in those areas. Every other platform that has to do with media and content is doing so. So what makes them think that they don't have to? So I don't know. But I think it's both, you know, the parents definitely, but there's no instruction books to being a parent as well. Like people, you know, are figuring it out on the way, you know, doing the best that they can. But at the same time, like everyone said, you're your first child's teacher and guidance. And I think you just got to talk to your kids and make them, you know, critical thinkers and just well aware of the world and the evils in it, and just prepare them as much as you can. But even with all the preparation that you've done, I know good parents have done everything they can to, you know, make sure that their kids head off in the right path. They still sometimes make the most incredible, you know, terrible decisions at times. And you still just got to love them unconditionally. But it doesn't, you know, necessarily mean that parent did anything wrong to the degree. You know, and sometimes, you know, maybe they could have did things better. We all could do things better. But I think we just need to have a little bit more grace with people and hold what we can hold accountable, you know, what's going on in our household, but also these social media platforms. You know, they've been arguing for this for a long time, and it's really just time to like step up and make the case, because people are becoming harmed, you know. So That's all I got, Nathan.
All right, TNT, I appreciate the call. Have a great day.
Yep.
Yeah, most of that's Nicole checking in. She says a little bit of both, which I can see, as I said, I can see how TikTok is responsible. I think that if you're a responsible platform, then you should respond to the fact that content that you are proliferating and you are pushing to people's phones could be interpreted in a way that's very dangerous for the user, especially young, impressionable minds. At the other side of it, I believe that mom and dad are the first and last line of defense. It's on you, mom and dad. It's on you. It's on you. Before we go any deeper in the show, I want to remind you that today's show is brought to you in part by our friends over at Wing Champ. You can check them out. There's a link in today's description, and that is their website right there, 3ws.originalwingchamp.com. And if you're looking for a great place to eat, maybe take the family, or maybe it's the next business gathering, or you're getting together with your girlfriends or the homies, consider Wing Champ. Check them out. And we got a quick promo for you, and I'll be back on the other side.
Liz Rogers done did it again, man. She done made Grandma Gigi sweet potato pie too.
And she made Aunt Tony's caramel pound cake too.
Porch light, peach cobbler, Uncle Charles, brown sugar, birthday
Think
cake.
Steve's and slap your mama.
But
Everybody knows where to get their food. Wing Champs will do. Everybody knows where to get their food. Wing Champs will do. Wings grilled and smoked to perfection. Dry rubber sauce is your preference. Ribs off the bone can get messy. Which size to choose? There's so many. Make their own ice cream, Dreamalicious. Go to the bar, they're so friendly. All perked at home to get fed. We headed out the Wing Champs. Everybody knows where to get their food. Wing Champs will do. Wing Champs will do. Everybody knows where to get their food. Wing Champs will do. Wing Champs, it will do it, yeah.
Again, 3ws.originalwingchamp.com is the website. You can order something for delivery or pick up today, and it is a Black-owned business. No, recycling the Black dollar is very, very important to the people in this audience, as well as myself. And good morning to you. Is TikTok to blame for a 10-year-old's death? Here's a picture of the little girl, and man, we'll never know what she could have brought to our world because she's no longer with us. She was trying to participate in a TikTok challenge. And from what I read, it looks like she struggled a bit and tried to release herself from what she had around her neck and wasn't able to do so. And she died because of it. Her family found her unresponsive in their home, in her bedroom. And now her mother is suing TikTok, saying that TikTok was well aware that the blackout challenge is some of these things I never did. There was another challenge. Like, I've seen people do challenges and I'm like, never me. Like, remember when people were planking? But then people start planking on the side of buildings and like the side of waterfalls and dangerous cliffs and shit. I'm like, it ain't that serious. But that's like a very human thing to do, right? To court more attention. If you think that you can do something or post a video that can get you a lot of views and include and increase your subscribers. There's some folks out there willing to do anything. You know, like Candace Owens. You know, some folks out there willing to do anything to try to be somebody or to try to get more visibility or to increase, you know, their platform. And I understand it. I don't always respect it. I don't respect it, but that's the world we live in. You know what I'm saying? What was that song? What people do for money, what people do for subs, what people do for likes, what people do for visibility. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I just shared my own story. In no way am I trying to shame anybody or say you got to do what I do. But, you know, Medium Buddha has wanted to be on social media. In particular, she wanted to be on TikTok. I said no. And at this point, she's 16. She'll be 17 next month. Damn, I got a 17-year-old next month. She'll be 17 next month, and at this point, she'll never be on it because I just don't see the functionality of it. You know what I'm saying? It don't pay her. It don't pay her. So if it ain't paying you, then why do it? You know what I'm saying? If you're looking for something for entertainment, that's why we got Netflix, and we pay for the Netflix account and give it to her. Like her mother and I, we pay for every facet of her life, everything. So that means that we can decide what she do. So we gonna decide. And I don't really think anything else about it. I think her mother maybe went back and forth a little about it more. I didn't go back and forth about it at all because I knew that I was right, per my opinion and the way I looked at it. And sometimes you don't do things because once you open the door, you have no control as to what happens after that. It's just some things you just don't need to do. As adults, we know that. Children, not so much. They don't know that shit. Brent writes, my peoples, good morning, and good morning, my peoples. Like that. Tracy writes, us, 9 a.m., no work. Is that right? Lisa writes, I have been in meetings, on dates, in church, whenever, and if all of my kids are not in my face, I'm answering this phone. Absolutely. Callie writes, good morning, good people. Sheila writes, heck, it's not for adults sometime, right? Tabitha writes, I am a responsible adult, and I don't like what I see on my news feed. Jane's in the house. Good morning, Jane. Jane out here living her best life. I love it. I love it. Enjoy all of it, Jane. I wish you nothing but the best. Roy writes, what happened? I just got on. I don't have TikTok. I think I just explained it. A 10-year-old girl was trying to do the blackout challenge on TikTok. The blackout challenge is where you wrap something around your face or your neck, plastic or shoelace or something. You asphyxiate yourself to the point where you're about to pass out, and then you stop. And it's like, ha funny. Did that shit sound funny to you? Like, what's funny about that? What's fun about that? Now, when I was a kid, we used to like hold our breath to see how long you could hold your breath and shit like that. I mean, that was just like more of an exercise of like swimming. Like one of the big things when I was a kid was me and my friends, we would like go and sit at the bottom of the swimming pool and we would open our eyes and look at each other. And it was like, who can hold their breath the longest? You know what I'm saying? You'd be sitting there. You're doing all that, but that's just harmless fun for kids. You're actually exercising your lungs. You're increasing your lung capacity. And then you swim to the top and laugh at them because, you can hold your breath longer. That's as close as I'm ever going to get and never got to the TikTok blackout challenge. And the point of that was not the blackout. The point of that was to see who could hold their breath the longest. That's harmless fun, right? That's what kids do in the swimming pool. Let me see. Brent writes, Nate, your daughter doesn't have any social media accounts that you know about. She probably has an account on one of her friends' devices. If she does, more power to her. She tried it. She tried to sneak it here or there, but again, spyware is a motherfucker. And so we got hip to the game. Then the wifey has like her spider sense would go off like, let me see your phone. And we caught her a few times and it wasn't good. Punishments the whole 9 yards because we said no. I forget what she created a fake account and got on something. I forget. It was some stupid shit. And we dealt with it with the wrath of Odin. You know what I'm saying? T'Challa had to come in swiftly and give that justice. And to our knowledge, and again with spyware, to that knowledge, she hasn't done anything else. Because, my thing is I got to make the consequences so terrible that you think 4 times about doing it again. And we did just that. Tracy writes, people need to stop allowing social media to babysit their kids. Correctamundo, Tracy. Correctamundo. People using social media as a pacifier, like go away and shut up so I can watch Real Housewives of Atlanta. Damn it. Don't you see my phone with your auntie? Why you I'm on the phone with your auntie. Go do something. Joe writes, 10 years old? Nah, go have a sit. You ain't on TikTok at 10, little one. Parents are responsible. Mika writes, teen girls are hard to control. Good luck, bro. I don't want to control her. My process with my daughter is not to control her. I'm not interested in controlling no human beings at all, even my children. My goal is to guide them. And whether you follow or not is up to her ultimately. But what my daughter and my son will never be able to say to me or her mother is that we didn't give you a good example and we didn't tell you beforehand. But I'm like that with adults. You know, friends, family members, if I see them about to do some dumb shit, I'll tell them like, you're about to do some dumb shit. And if they decide to do it anyway, they suffer the consequences. I'm not holding your hand. I'm not coming to the hospital, and I ain't going to court with you because I told you. Listen or don't listen. And I'm the same way about like with health and things like that. Like all the people around me, I've told them. This is what happens to me. This is how I change. And I'm doing it. If you decide to do something else, you ain't going to never be able to say that somebody that care about you didn't tell you. And that's it. I ain't going to shed no tears over what other people do. And same thing with Media Buddha. I don't have no fear about what she does as an adult or even a teenager at all because I already told her. That's on you, boo. That's on you. But I was raised that way. You know, the people in my life, they told me like, don't do this. That's hot. Water is wet. That'll get you effed up. And if I decide to go ahead and do it, they didn't spend no words. They didn't cry. Oh, we got to go to, they didn't go to court. They didn't do none of that. So that's just in me. So I'm the same way. I told you. What you do after that is on you. I don't have no feelings about it. I don't have no thoughts about it. I don't think twice about it at all. And I means that. And that goes for my mama, who's dead now. Anybody close to me, it makes no difference. Because all you can ever, that's all I think you can all, that's the only thing you can really expect from a person is for them to be honest with you and tell you. What happens after that is on the individual. So I have no fear about what Medium Buddha does or doesn't do. I already pretty much know what she's going to do at this point. That's why when you're dealing, like, I've had situations where I was dealing with like the people at her school and they try to tell me something about her and I just look at them and I have to tell them like, you don't know her better than I do. I already know. Teachers have called us over the years and said, your daughter did this. I already know whether she did it or not because she did it at home first. I already know. I know what she's capable of, generally speaking, and what she's not capable of, generally speaking. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm not in the control. Only person I'm trying to control is me. That's it. I don't have no control over no other human being in this world and don't want it. That's too much pressure. Man, I drive myself crazy trying to control somebody else. Kids, wife, brothers and sisters, mama, daddy, auntie. I don't have no control over nobody but myself. That's what people get fucked up, then you got some kind of control. I don't have no control at all. Fully admit it and ain't looking for it. I'm just simply here to be a good influence, to be a good example, and to guide. If you follow, you follow. If you don't, you don't. You don't. I was at my brother-in-law's house. Maybe it was last year. He was cooking some meat or something. He was like, "Yeah, I bet Nate." He was my first name. He was like, "I bet Nate was I bet you can't stand this." And I was like, "I don't care what you eat. Eat whatever you want to eat. I told you, little bruh. You already know. Big bro had a heart attack. Here's why. Here's what big bro did. Eat what you want to eat. But I'm not going to hold your hand. And I ain't going to shed no tears at all. That's on you. That's all you. What else can you expect from a grown person? That's it. That's it. Just be straight with a person. Just be straight with me. Shabba writes, you bugging on Roblox, Nate. My 6-year-old niece capitalized on Roblox. Next up are NFTs. Roblox, the new set of crayons for kids to create. I agree with that. You're right about that. Roblox can be a way to make money, and it is an avenue for creatives. You're right about that. But there's also some stuff on there that is not necessarily kid friendly. And primarily it's what you get from other people. Everybody on Roblox ain't a kid. That's number one. Everybody in Roblox is not a kid. You got some predators on Roblox. I'm just saying. So don't think, oh, he's on Roblox or she's on Roblox. Just make sure that you looking over their shoulder and you really paying attention to who they interacting with. Brent writes, you do realize that you can delete individual videos from your history. Callie writes, my daughter learns a lot of things on TikTok, i.e. cooking, educational info, but I do monitor it. My daughter is 12, and my daughter has had a phone since she was 9 under strict monitoring. Yep, everybody's different, Callie. I ain't here to try to act like I'm better than somebody else or my way is the best way to do it. I'm just simply giving you my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Good people. It's a lot of good people with different ways of doing things. Tabitha writes, these kids don't need no phone. That's like giving them a car at age 10. Crystal writes, how is her death TikTok fault? Well, from what I read from the lawsuits, and it's just excerpts that were in a news article about the lawsuit. I did not read the lawsuit documents, the court documents themselves. So let me put that out there as a caveat. But from what I gather, the argument is that TikTok was well aware that worldwide about 4 to 5 young people have died while trying to participate in the blackout challenge. And the argument is that they should have done one or two things. They should have either restricted the access in terms of how the algorithm proliferates the videos to people's phones to make sure it didn't go to people that were minors, and or they should have banned all blackout videos entirely. And because they didn't do that, it opened up the window of opportunity and possibility for what happened with this young girl and other children as well. So that's what the argument is. And while I think that the mom and dad are the first line of defense, I cannot say that I don't see some merit in that. I can see that on some levels. You know what I'm saying? You just can't create something and then realize that there's a tendency for people to use it irresponsibly. There's something you can do about it, and you don't do anything about it. You know, I feel the same thing about the gun manufacturers. When the gun manufacturers produce guns, they're not producing guns hoping that they're going to be used in the commission of robberies and murders and violence, right? But they do know what's happening. I think they should be held responsible on some levels. I don't think a gun should be manufactured without it having a gun lock that comes along with it, each and every firearm in America. That's what I personally think. But the Bush administration, as Baby Bush, they immunized the gun manufacturers from all civil lawsuits, so that ain't gonna never happen. But that's just me. You see, Greg writes, who came up with this blackout challenge? I don't know. See, kids need guidance from their parents or their adult guardians or older siblings with these blackout challenges are very dangerous. I would agree. Obviously, it is. Parents just need to be aware and protect their kids from the world until they understand this world. Man, I didn't really understand this world until recently. You really don't understand this world until several things happen to you. You really don't understand this world until you've been betrayed. You really don't understand this world until you've dealt with death, people close to you. You really don't understand this world until you've had a big setback. You really don't understand this world until you've had what some people might say is a big step up. Until all of those things have happened, you really don't understand this world until you come close to death. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand this world until very recently. You know what I'm saying? Until those things happen to you, and I think all those things, you really don't understand this world until you've had a child. You really don't understand this world until you've lived in this world and all those things have happened to you. That's when you really understand what this shit is really all about. You know what I'm saying? And you got to come close to death to really understand and appreciate life. That's just my personal opinion. And until you've dealt with all of those things and had all those experiences, you really don't understand this world. You really don't understand it. Nat writes, good Tuesday, Nate and Choppers. Greg writes, yes, I remember what it was like being a kid. I set our apartment on fire when I was 9 on accident because I played with candles. Where the kids play with candles or with their phones, they need a lot of guidance. That's interesting, Greg. The one thing I can remember about being a kid is the feeling of contentment. Like I remember that, like being content, like fully, totally on every level being content. That's one thing I can remember about being a kid. And I never played with candles. My little brother almost set the house on fire. He was trying to cook some shit and fell asleep. And all the walls was black because of the smoke. And he burned some kind of plastic. I mean, we couldn't even walk in the house for hours afterward. The whole house had that burning black plastic, black film over everything, which we now know is fucking dangerous, and breathing that in can kill you. He almost killed all of us. I think the craziest thing I ever did was there's a White Castle that's in Reading Road at the corner of Reading and William Howard Taft. You know that White Castles? My mother and I, she loved White Castles. I was back when White Castles, not saying it's not now, but White Castle was the shit back in the day. You get a whole bag of cheeseburgers for like, I don't know, something crazy like $5, $3, something crazy. We used to smash. And my mother would get paid every other Friday, and every other Friday we would go out to eat. And she went to White Castle. She left me in the car. Why she did that, I don't know. I just remembered that for a little while, I was fascinated by the way the car worked. And I would see my mother moving the gears and turning this and that and the other. And I just wanted to see what it looked like. And so it was a hot day. So she left the car running and left the AC on, I believe. And she went into White Castles and she parked on the hill. She parked with the headlights facing William Howard Taft, right? And I'm giving you descriptions for people who know what I'm talking about. You can picture it. You're up on the hill, right? At that particular White Castle, it's still the same way right now. You can drive past it today. The headlights were facing William Howard Taft. That means that the back of the car was facing White Castles, and we were on a slant like this. So what did I do? Well, I jumped into the front seat in the driver's seat and started playing with the wheel. I'm playing with the wheel. You know what I'm saying? I'm turning the wheel, but the wheel wouldn't turn. I'm like, what did she do? The wheel ain't turning. So I put it in neutral, and the car went backwards, crashed into some white woman. It was not a good day. It was not a good day. But my mother blamed herself. She took the response. She was like, I never should have left you in the car with the keys running with your dumb ass. What's wrong with you? And I remember the car rolling backwards. I was like, oh, snap. I'm trying to like hit the brake. I couldn't push the brake down enough. I was a kid then. I must have been like 6, 7. Could you imagine she come back out? She about to smash. We got a whole bag of cheeseburgers and some fries. We about to smash, right? And she saw that I smashed the rear end of our car into somebody else. Wasn't a good day. I'm sure. I can't imagine I would never do that with my children, but I can't imagine how I would feel. But I would probably take it on the chin like, oh, it was you, Pops. And just get ready for those higher insurance premiums. You already know. Right? So that's my little, burning candle story. I never burned a house down other than that, but I did crash Mom's car. I remember she wasn't happy, but she was like more concerned about me. Like, are you okay? And then I remember hearing on the phone, talking with my grandparents and her brother, my uncle, and she took it on the chin. She took responsibility for it. So Brandy writes, good morning. TNT, and we heard from her. She writes, they do need to regulate stupidity. They should never have been a challenge that encourages death on a platform that mainly caters to kids. We stopped flavored cigarettes because it might entice kids to smoke. Excellent point. Yeah, excellent point. You're right about that. Jerica writes, my stepdaughter lost her privileges to social media when we know that she couldn't handle outside influences. Well, I believe in that too. I also believe in giving people a chance to see what they can do. I believe in that as well. TNT writes, they have a responsibility to their content. I agree they do. Krista writes, I stole a lighter before. Did you? I stole some stuff too. Like I told you, I went to the drugstore in Walnut Hills and tried to steal some candy and got caught. I don't know what I take it back. It was some comic books. They had comic books in there. I tried to steal some comic books. Man, I wanted that Avengers, issue 175, I guess. I don't know what it was, but man, I got caught. And the black guy in there, he let me go. I was so happy. I never stole again until I stole again. I never stole again until I stole again. Oh man, DeVray writes, glad you're all right. Best laugh all day. Great. I'm glad I can bring some laughter to the morning, man, because there's so much heavy stuff going on. So much heavy stuff going on. Jericho writes, I once set the kitchen table on fire. My mom took me to the fire department. The chief met with me, showed me a picture of people who died in accidental fires. I never did it again. Is that right? That's a good way for mom to handle it. Yeah. How'd you set the kitchen table on fire? Was it some matches? And when you're a kid, fire is fascinating to you. It's fascinating to you. You know what I'm saying? You know, it is what it is. Crystal writes, I stole cars. Really? What? Ooh, she right. You stole a car? Oh, man. Lemmy writes, preach, Nathan, until God snatch you out if death mouth, but you're still alive, you have a better view of life. Oh, absolutely. You don't really know what life is about until you almost lose your life. And I didn't realize that until I almost lost my life. I look at life completely differently in some ways, completely differently. I'll never look at the world again the same. And I can tell you that, but until you're in that situation, I hope you never are. But until and if you're in that situation, you don't know what I'm talking about. You don't really understand it. You don't appreciate it the same. It's like anything else. Like when you're about to lose something, then you can appreciate how precious it is. But that's life. That's life. Tracy writes, my sister and I decided we wanted to make wax and burn crayons over the stove. My mother saw the drippings. I still feel that 1977 ass whoopings. I never did anything like that. Chairman Mom was a good mom in the sense that, you know, she understood that boys are going to be boys. And we did all kind of goofy shit, but nothing like that. You know, they have these firecrackers, right? Where there's a string on one end and a string on the other end. And when you pull them apart, boom, there's an explosion. And so what I used to do, because I was a prankster, I would go to my sister's room and mother's room, and then I would tie the doorknob to like the door. You know, I would somehow I would rig it together so that when they got up in the morning, you know, they would go to the bathroom, you'd all sleepy, they open the door, bang. And I got in trouble for that a couple times because I scared the shit out of my sisters. But that was it. Carmelita writes, I used to make torches with hairspray and a lighter. Oh man, that's just good fun right there. Everybody did that. Shit, I'll do that now. I haven't done it, but I'll do that now. That's fun right there. And then, you know, you got to make sure the flame don't go back into the lighter because you might have like a little bomb in your hands. But that's good fun. That's good fun right there. I used to break in the back. I stole cigarettes from Kroger on Madison and Covington, Kentucky. It was the confession time. We all confessing. I knew everyone in Kroger because I lived around the corner. The cashier let me go and call my mama, which I didn't know until she came down the street calling my name with a leather black belt in hand. Crazy thing is, I didn't smoke. Why was you stealing cigarettes? Because people were smoking cigarettes. It seemed like it was something to do. My grandmother went through a transformation in her life. When she was younger, she was for the streets. Granny was in them streets, smoking, drinking, fornicating, doing all that kind of shit, cussing. My earliest memories of my grandparents was they was the life of the party. Their house was the party house, like literally. Like something out the movies, people be smoking and drinking and playing cards and shit. Like it was never like on the level of like, let's say Menace to Society, you know how that opens up. I never saw no gunplay, but I know my people carry weapons. But you know, big plumes of smoke, be frying up fish, smoking, drinking, cussing, dancing. I seen all that shit. You know, my grandmother and my grandfather was about all of that. And at some point they went to this transformation and she went straight religious. Stopped smoking, drinking, and swearing, and all that kind of stuff. But I remember being up on the second floor of their house, and my grandmother's voice was the loudest voice in the whole place. Yeah. You know, I was just normal. And so, sometimes, my grandmother be drinking beer all the time. And I admit, I used to sip a little. She'd go to the bathroom and she'd walk away. And I'd be like, what'd that be like? You know what I'm saying? And sip me a little something here or there. And she never knew. Or maybe she did know, she never said anything. Because what I know about the people back then was they never really checked you on every little thing. Like even with me and Buddha, my daughter and I, my wife and I know that she's done a lot of little shit that we never say nothing to her about. Because why? We'll let you think you getting it off. It ain't really no problem. If it becomes a problem, we'll bring it up to you. But now looking back, I realized my grandparents was hip to a lot of my shit. And I thought I was straight getting away with it. You don't get away with it. When you're around people that's paying attention to you and they older, you ain't getting away with nothing. But it's the same way as an adult. Sometimes people can be around you and they get the lying and you just be looking at them like, really? Okay. You don't even got to say nothing because you already know. And that's just how it was back then and still is right now. You know what I'm saying? That is hilarious. Daryl writes, before I went to college, I snuck out the window and got on my bike to meet a female. Shame. Did you? Did I ever do that? I never did that. No. I snuck females into my grandparents' house. I mean, come on now. Shit, I'm 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, I did that. Absolutely. Be quiet. You know what I'm saying? It was an old house, and I knew all the stairs that would creak, and I'd be like, don't step right there, step right here. Sneak upstairs. And we get it on, and we sneak back downstairs. I'm thinking they sleep. Them motherfuckers want to sleep. They knew. But they was like, well, he gonna do it anyway, so I guess he gonna do it at home and shit. So, yeah, I did all that shit. Scared, man, you trying to sneak somebody in or you sneaking out or sneaking somebody else, the stairs creak, it sounds like a bomb going off, don't it? You like, you stop breathing. Right? You stop breathing for a second but I mean, I ended up getting caught with girls in the bed. That was interesting. I mean, that's just gonna happen though. You know what I'm saying? That's just young people being young people. It is what it is. There was always good sports about it. There really was. Like I didn't know until I had children just how much they was aware. I had no idea. I thought I was so smooth with my shit. I wasn't getting away with shit. Joe Rice definitely stunk out the house. The stairs was loud, though. I think I read that. My son threw mine down the vent. What? What's that? Marisha writes, Marsha writes, I love us in our stories. They have made my morning. Well, good. I'm good. I'm glad because the world is crazy. We got a lot of threats to the Black family out there, literal threats. And I really feel like I remember, and I think this was legitimate because I'm not for violence against anybody unless it's in some self-defense type shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with the business at all. I'm not a violent man. I don't bother nobody. And I'm not looking to bother anybody. I mind my own black ass business. That's what I do. And but it's clear that there's threats to our family out there. And we need to step away from it from time to time and just laugh and just be on some positive shit. You know what I'm saying? That's it. But with that, my family, she should have what happened now? Well, we got pulled over. You got pulled over in a stolen car? Crystal, you got stories. Mika writes, I used to take my mom Trans Am out after she went to sleep at night. She never knew. She taught me how to back in the driveway. You used to do what? I never took my parents' or grandparents' car. That's one thing I never did. Now I kept it out later. Like I remember prom, they was like, come back at 1 o'clock. I ain't come back until like 10 a.m. the next morning. I ain't come back till like 10 a.m. the next morning. I was out with my date. Fuck you mean? You know what I was doing. It's prom night. And then we went to breakfast the next day. And I remember when I walked in the house, my grandmother had this look on her face, like she would do this. And she wouldn't look at me. And I didn't look at her. I just laid the keys down and went to my room. They didn't say nothing about it. And I'm like, come on now. I mean, how you going to tell me to come home at 1 p.m. on prom night? I'm not doing that shit. I had plans. And I executed the plan. She says, I was living my best life. Is that right? You were. We're going to have to do a segment on all these stories, man, because that's hilarious. You took your mom's Now, Trans Am's was pretty nice. What color was it? I mean, if you had to do it, you had to do it. Crystal writes, I wanted no smoke with my mother. She had zero issues with me. She's heavy-handed. Now y'all see why I'm so hard on my kids. Is that right? My wife hates when I say this, but I keep telling her that our daughter is going to do everything she did with an updated twist. Our son is going to do everything that we did with an updated twist. That's what kids do. We pass that shit down in our DNA to them. It is what it is. I don't think nothing about it. But sometimes I can look at her and she's like, oh, dear Lordy, I don't want our daughter to do what I do. And I'm like, what the fuck was you doing? What did you tell me? What the fuck? But I don't sweat it because, I mean, you know, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? But that's true story. Sometimes I'm be like, I thought I knew everything. But you never know anything. You never know everything when you're dealing with another adult. That's just what it is. It was Candy Apple Red. Oh, you had to take that out. Candy Apple Red Trans Am back in the day. Your mama was living good. What was she doing? Is that what like the T, like the windows, you could take the top windows out, like it had the T bar in the top of it, and the windows was out on the side, like BJ and the Bandit Trans Am? Oh my God. Woo, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you at all. I had my first fun in her grandparents' car. Oh boy. My daughter was nothing like I was. Some of y'all was some badass kids. I mean, all kids are bad. I mean, or mischievous or shit like that. It's all part of life. Listen, family, I got to make a move. I really appreciate you. But before we roll out, I want to hip you to game here and let you know about Wing Champ. You can check them out. It's a great place to take for lunch. Take yourself or maybe your colleagues for lunch. Maybe your significant other. Check out the menu. I won't go through the whole menu. If you follow that link that's in the description today, you can check it out for yourself. And they got all kinds of anything you can imagine with a twist. They got their own flavor and flavors. And if you're into smoked wings, they got you. If you like it when they rub them down with the herbs and the spices, they got you covered. Plus, it's Black owned. And I know recycling the Black dollar is very important. So you can order for pickup or for delivery today at Wing Champ, the undisputed champion of all wings. And with that, family, I got to make a move. Have an excellent Tuesday. Remember our motto. Let's say it together. You ready? Winners focus on winning, and losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk real soon. Until next time, I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand. I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, on my totem it's nothing. In the discussion, for them feelings I throw all my pain on percussion. It's disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you all must spot it.